What is up, Evil Dead fans? Just to let you guys know, the post-apocalyptic chainsaw is on hold for a moment. I'm actually working on another project for a friend of mine. It is the Evil Dead 1 Homelight XL12. I'm going to show you guys where I'm at with that and what I'm doing and how to restore that. Let me give you a little backstory on what I'm doing with it. Basically, I'm restoring it to original specs of how it looked from the factory. Once that is done, then it goes into the weathering process of matching to the original Evil Dead. If you plan on doing one of these or any of the chainsaws and you buy a Homelight XL, the first thing you want to do is to dump out any extra fluid that it has in the tanks. Now, the fuel gas mixture and fuel gas, that makes no sense. The oil gas mixture and the oil is really gelatinous, so what you want to do is dump all that stuff out. I mean, let it sit for a few hours dumping out. Then after that, go over with some brake cleaner inside of it, dump that out, let it air out for a long time, because when I've gotten any chainsaws in the past, or even this one, it looks like the gentleman who sold it did dump it out, but not to the extent that needed to be done. And so it stunk bad and it leaked all over my shop. And if you've torn one of these apart, you know how bad they leak, spit oil, everything like that. This one has a little kind of a plunger deal to where it's like a self-oiling mechanism. That's one thing that you want to look at too on the Homelight XL12s, is to make sure that's dumped out as well. If not, you have oil just spitting out everywhere. So, or lubricating oil. So I had to do that, but this one will be brought back to original specs, factory specs, and then modified to match the one from the original Evil Dead. And once I show you guys that, I'm going to answer just, I think, one question, because I think the next video I'm going to do is answer a lot of everybody's questions when they want to talk, whether it's about where to get parts, things like that. But at the end of this video, I will tell you guys where to get certain parts for your chainsaw, whether it's, you know, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash vs. Evil Dead. So let's look at this Homelight XL12 here in just 1 minute. I got one more thing to say, is I have a lot of projects coming up dealing with the chainsaws, and I was planning on slowing down, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one. I have to fix another one for another gentleman. One guy has one that's wrecked up. Also, I got to do the anti-saw, and I got to do 2 chainsaws, Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaws for a couple people, and then revamp another person's chainsaw to match Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I'm going to be pretty busy in these next few months. I'm hoping to try to get everything done by the end of February. That's the plan, but don't know. it's all kinds of stuff to do. So let's get into it. Okay, here's some of the parts that have been, I wouldn't say completed, but been, you know, initially worked on. Okay, now we have that top piece that goes on the Homelight. It's quite shiny, and I actually have to dull it down quite a bit to get it screen accurate. All the Homelight symbols were covered up with tape for the most part that you see. There was one scene when he's holding, or Ash is holding the chainsaw above Linda, where you can see the barcode sticker. And the scene before, when he grabs or pulls back the curtain, it's covered up with tape. The tape must have fallen off because that tape they use for that is actually more of a fibrous tape, and which is a really, really dog shit style tape. It doesn't really stick to much, so whenever I do this, the tape will be permanently placed there so it keeps the screen accuracy and you don't have to worry about it falling off at all. The handle here is in great shape. This I'm actually going to sand down and get that repainted to match this, and then weather them both at the same time after that's completely done. There's a washer here, and that's got to go. These have been painted. Nothing's been weathered. And I really don't like how this camera brightens things up, because these aren't like super bright. Excuse me. The color actually matches the original Homelight, the Homelight XL12. So we got this piece here. And with this piece here, what you want to do is you want to completely paint it that red color. because what you'll need to do after that is you want to tape off for the black. And then what I'll need to do is make a stencil for the XL12. Let me get another piece real quick and I'll show you what's going on with that. Okay, as you can see, we have two pieces here. This was the one that was originally on this Homelight XL12 that was sent to me. This was one that matched, but it was so banged up over here, I couldn't just reuse it. It had to be repainted. It's got to be re-weathered and everything like that. One thing you notice is some of the black where I taped off is actually not perfect, but that doesn't matter because that edging actually has to be blackened in and silvered up. So what I'm going to do to make this match be screen accurate is I got to take a photocopy of this because the XL12 symbol and the Homelight symbol exactly match what was on this one. So I got to photocopy it, make a stencil, and then put it on there, and then weather it out properly. That's going to be one of the final things to do, is to properly weather it. The one thing that I was talking to him about, I was going to go to this extent, but then realizing I'm going to actually glue the tape on so it does not come off, is this Homelight emblem that goes across here, and it's covered with black tape. I'm not going to add that in just because it's pointless, because if you rip the tape off, then you're ripping all the paint off, and it's just garbage. If you're doing the XL12 from Evil Dead 1, one thing that you're going to keep is that sticker, because that sticker is on film. It is on film. So you want to keep that sticker, you want to tape it off, paint around it, and keep that sticker. That one had the sticker, this one did not. And it's got that really orangish look. If you ever do this project and the body looks really orangish, pull off something that hasn't been in the sun a lot, and you'll notice it's more red than it is orange. Okay, as you see right now, the body's upside down. I'm actually putting stuff back on it. The reason why it's upside down is because I had to do some paint on the bottom. I had to tape off a lot of stuff with this chainsaw. I had to empty out the rest of the oil and the gas because it stunk to high hell. And it's just something that had to be done. These are the bolts that hold on the bottom side of the handle. Then we got over here, everything's coming together pretty well. Any kind of overspray or anything like that will be removed and fixed, things like that. The one thing with this is he asked me if it ran, and I told him to take it to a small engines mechanic just because, you know, they know more than I do. One thing I noticed when I was taking this off, this flywheel is super loose. It should actually be tighter against the clutch. So something's missing there. I mean, for the most part, I'd say everything is there. And really, all you would need is a carburetor adjustment and added the fuel into it, and it would run no problem. But yeah, there's something just missing right there. It should be a lot tighter. As you can see right here, there's a little overspray. That's all going to be taken care of. All these hoses are put back on. Right here, you'll see this hose right here, this copper hose. All the paint's going to have to be chipped off of that to make it look right. And it's coming together pretty well. I'm sorry it's upside down, but let me show you that little barcode tag. This is where you would have the tag that has the number of the model. Now, when Ash pulls away the curtain in Evil Dead 1, that is covered with tape. But when he's holding the saw above Annie, it's not covered up. You can actually see it. I'm guessing the tape probably fell off by that time. That's my guess. But the barcode on it was pretty well trashed, and it was kind of unsalvageable. And also you'll get that really, really good look of when he pulls the curtain back if you do cover it with that crap tape. But like I said, with that crap tape, you may have to glue it on there if you want to keep it permanent, which that's what I'm going to do with this one here. But it's coming along very well. The thing you want to remember, when you do something like this, or really with anything that you really have to weather and go from square one. And I do this every time. Excuse me. With every one of my chainsaws, I always make them look pristine first. It's easier to make it look brand new and then weather it out versus trying to make it weathered while you're painting it, because then you got really crisp lines where paint's missing, which doesn't show real wear and tear. It doesn't give that appearance real wear and tear. It looks like it was faked. So you want to make sure with anything you weather, and you're starting from square one, make it look pristine first and then do your weathering. It just makes the job that much easier because you can slowly or as fast as you want to make it look older. So it's coming along, it's looking good. And yeah, oh, let me show you one more thing. Okay, right here we have the other panel that where the pull cord is. Now it's upside down, as you can see. Let me turn it around here for you. It's banged up pretty bad. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to put that XL12 symbol back on there. That side isn't really seen at all. But of course, before I do all my weathering, I'm definitely going to go over every scene very, very closely so I can get that just right. Now, to get that symbol, remember, with this one here, you're going to make a, or if you have just one side and you have one that looks really good, the XL12 symbol looks really good, make a bunch of these stencils, because this side is the same size as this side emblem. They're exactly the same size. Now, one thing I'm going to have to look for specifically in the original Evil Dead is if this is visible at all, this home light symbol, or if they used tape on it, or if it wasn't even filmed at all. If it wasn't filmed at all and you can't see it, what I'm going to do to keep it to the theme that all the emblems are gone is I'll probably just paint it or get rid of it completely instead of trying to recreate that, because like I said, all the home light emblems were covered up except for that sticker on here because you can't really read it. But they did kept the XL12 emblem, which I will recreate again. So this is one thing I'm going to start working on tonight, and then this tonight, and so forth and so on. But it's really not too bad. It's not super hard to do. It's just a lot of different parts, little pieces that you have to tear down. It's a lot more in depth. Let's say tearing down a home light XL, you know, something like that. Once you have that stuff in there, then it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So, but that's where we're at right now, and I'm going to answer one of your guys' questions that asked me in the last video. All right, there it is. That's everything right there that I'm at, where everything's at this moment in time. Somebody put on the comments on my last video and asked where do you get a lot of parts for the chainsaws. They were wondering about it. A lot of stuff, if you want stock home light stuff, you have to go hit up eBay for that. If you're looking for specialty items like tops, handles, gas caps, things like that, Etsy's a good place to go. Now, Nick Salmart, I know he offers up a lot of stuff. He makes tops, makes top handles, he makes tank lids, grills. I think he makes grills? No, I don't know if he does or not. But there's a lot of grill people out there who make grills. Anime Creations, I know Levy Enterprises makes grills. There is quite a bit of people out there, but the ultimate Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness grill, still, the title still goes to Chris Pollock. If you want one of his, let me know. I can have you get in contact with him, and you can go that route. A lot of people make the Ash vs. Evil Dead ones. I know Anime Creations does. I'm not really, at the moment, selling grills, if you're wondering if I do. I'm too busy doing other stuff. So I'm not doing those at the moment. And also, I think I need to make a new mold of a lot of the other grills that I do. So that's where I'm at with that. When it comes to tops, Christoph Engel I think he's out of Russia or Germany. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Christoph, if you're watching this. He makes tops, and XXX Gotham and XXX did a nice review on the Knights of Samaria page about his tops and the construction and everything like that. And also, I know Nick Salmart makes tops. Now, here's the question for you. Now, are you planning on making your own top handle? Because if you are not, and you're just buying something that has been molded or made, I know Nick Salmart does, and I'm sure it matches up with the tops he sells. So if you want to go that route, I would definitely just get both of them together, because they will match. If you're making your own top handle, you can pick or choose from Christoph Engels or Nick Salmart. And I know Nick Salmart's on Etsy. The last time I checked, if he's not on there and you want to get a hold of one of these individuals about parts, let me know, and I will direct you directly to them. I will send you right to them. Talking about tops, a question that somebody asked me is the tops that are available for sale from any of the top makers, are they at the same specs as my tops? I can honestly say no. Just by the appearance, I know they're not to what I do, my tops. Same thing with Christoph's and Nick Sommert's. They're both different tops. They both look great, but they're not exactly the same. It's just the way it goes. I mean, because it's really just a custom piece, and people make their own templates and things like that. Like I said, Christoph Ingels, fantastic. Does a fantastic job. Nick Sommart does a fantastic job as well. And to answer the last question, do I sell tops? No, I do not. And at some point I will. Once I actually start to get into the process of wanting to mold or make those for sale, I'll let you guys be the first. You guys be the first ones to know, of course. When it comes to the tanks, the tank tops. Anyways, the tank lids. Like I said, Nick Sommert's the only one I know that makes them. I'm not sure which model they're from. I don't know how accurate you want to get them. I can't remember what his look like offhand, the tops. They look great. They do. They look fantastic. But you got to remember there's 3 different kinds when it comes to Home Light XLs. One is the blank tops that have no symbols or writing. Then you got number 2 where you have the writing but you don't have the emblem. And then number 3 is when you have the writing and the emblems on the tank lids. Those are the correct ones to have if you're doing a very accurate chainsaw. Those are the ones you want to go with. I'm not sure if Nick has those on his or not. That's something you'll have to look for yourself, but he does a fantastic job with everything he does. I do mold and cast tank lids and stuff like that. If you're interested in getting something from me, let me know. And if I'm not super busy, I could probably whip out a few and send them out. But that's really it. So stay tuned. We got a lot of chainsaw building, which I didn't plan on, coming up. We still got the post-apocalyptic finish. We have to do the Jacksonville chainsaw. We have to do Annie's chainsaw. We have to revamp a good friend of mine's chainsaw. And fix another chainsaw that was beat up. I can show you guys how to do a repair on the chainsaw. And, gosh, what was another one? And then another one for another friend of mine. And what I'm going to do with that one. And I'll talk about all that stuff later. I think the next video I'm finally going to answer a lot of the questions that people have asked me. Like the top 5, and that's it. And then go back into building stuff. So guys, girls, whatever, you guys stay groovy.